Hey guys, welcome back to another course update. In today's video, I am doing one of the most favorite things I do on the golf course. Just kidding. But in all seriousness, I'm going to be replacing a couple sprinkler heads. We're getting to that time of the year where it's time to turn on the irrigation. However, replacing sprinkler heads when the water is off is much easier. So I want to try to get this done before we fire the system up, which will be sometime later this week. I'm currently out here on One Lakes on the back part of the green, and like I said, this sprinkler, it works, but it's one of the old ones. And these sprinklers, I think they stopped making these in 1995, so this sprinkler is 30 years old, which, like I said, it still works, but the advancement of technology on these sprinkler heads have come such a long way that it's just nice to update some of these old ones to the newer style. And another reason why I'm replacing this specific one is it's in a great spot for us to be able to plug in to hand water the green. So this green really struggles on the back half of the green, and specifically the back right corner. Always seems like we're losing grass back there, and the other spots that we have to plug in are just kind of far away, so we don't really get a good hand water on it. So replacing this sprinkler gives us that opportunity to be able to hit all the spots that we usually hit on this green, to hopefully help this survive throughout the playing season. I'm trying to be really careful digging up around these heads because I'm not entirely sure where the wires are yet. Once I find those, I'll be able to dig more aggressively. But until then, I just got to be careful. All right, just to give you guys a closer up view. So these two sets of wire, this is from the solenoid. And the solenoid, if you guys have been a part of my channel, this is the mechanism that tells the sprinkler to turn on and off, just like a solenoid does in a car or anything. It's just sends energy and it cuts off energy. So now that I located this, here are the two common wires, and there's two common wires, or two white wires, and it's because the one's coming in to come up to hook to the solenoid, and then the other one is actually running out to go to the next sprinkler. Then you got this guy right here, which is the black wire. That is known as your hot wire, and that connects to the other wire on the solenoid. So and that ends right here. So these two wires will get twisted back together and hooked to one of these, and then the other wire is going to get hooked to the black wire on the new sprinkler. And remember, these sprinklers are attached to something called a swing joint, so that's why this can move. Go ahead and unscrew this big dog to take this off, and then the other thing I'll have to do after I get the sprinkler off is I'll have to change the elbow that I'm unscrewing this from, because this has just a regular pipe thread on it, but the new heads have what's called an Acme fitting, which allows these new sprinklers to kind of move, and it has an O-ring on it, so it's sealed correctly. Also, this is 1.5 inches. The old style greens heads used to be 1.5 inches inlet, and the new ones are 1.25 inches. So basically I have 1.5 inches that goes over top of this, that reduces down to 1.25 inches, that has the appropriate Acme fitting on top. Let me show you. So this right here is 1.5 inches. So this is going to screw right on top of here, and you're going to go as tight as you can till you can't turn it no more. And the nice thing about these Acme fittings is you can back them off. Like I said, it allows you to kind of move a little bit. And you can see they make it idiot proof. Hey, you need an Acme fitting for these. I'm going to basically fill this hole in, and I'm going to tamp as I go, aka step on it, and that way it doesn't settle as much. One Lake's sprinkler swap is complete. I have a couple other places I would like to do as well, so on to the next one. Stop number 2 on the sprinkler swap sweepstake 6000 is out here on 3 Lakes. So we're out here on the green, and we are actually replacing this guy right here. So just like the last situation on 1 Lakes, that sprinkler works. In the past we have had some issues with this current station, or with the station tied to that sprinkler not working, but we have fixed that problem. But I'm going to show you why I'm swapping, and this is also one to plug our hose into, but it's also coverage, and you can see how gross it is over here. And like I said, the coverage of the newer sprinklers compared to those, and the distribution of water is just so much better. So yeah, I gotta swap this out, because this is a green bank and it just is so rough. Now, and to also doesn't help this is all along here there are no rough sprinklers. So I'm not gonna walk all the way up there, but probably on that mound right there, that's where the rough sprinklers end. I'm not really sure why they didn't continue the plumbing all the way over here. But so anyway, these green banks only get that one greens head, that little tiny greens head water over the summer. So this has always struggled. It doesn't help. We have done some clearing here. Cameron, Matt have cut down a whole lot of trees, but you know, these tree roots also come up in here, suck all the water away. So yeah, this tiny little poor sprinkler tried to combat many different things, but yeah, I'm going to swap this out, and it's not going to solve the issue, but certainly going to help. I think later on down the line in the next couple years, we may try to pipe in some irrigation over here to help, but that's still in the works. So let me get to this one. I'm going to dig it up and place it just like 1 Lakes. Got the old sprinkler on 3 Lakes dugout here. Got my new one with my new elbow. I wanted to show you this. I think another reason why it was struggling is if you see down the elbow, we got some gravel. Not really sure where that came. It's not uncommon to see one, but It's like a bunch in there. So anyway, once you go to water, all of that comes shooting up and it gets caught in this screen. This is actually called a rock screen for this reason. That's probably why this also didn't water very well, is it, even though it popped up and watered like it should, the pressure probably wasn't correct. So this is very interesting. So I gotta make sure once I unscrew that, because that's the old head I got, or I'm sorry, the old elbow. I gotta put this new one on, the Acme one. But I wanted to show you guys that. So our next sprinkler that we are swapping out is here on 4 Lakes T, and that's the sprinkler that I'm going to be replacing, and it's actually going to help the back of 3 where we were just at. Like I said, now that camera has cleared some of these trees out, this sprinkler will no longer just hit all that brush and trees. Yeah, there's brush in there too that was pretty high, but anyway, now that there's nothing in its way, that sprinkler will help hit some of the back of the mounds there. But anyway, this is a swap. This is something we have to do, unlike the other two, because once I dig it up, but anyway, the can has separated, and you can see this little depression here. It's just been blowing water out that way. So this T, actually near the tail end of 2025, wasn't getting the adequate water it was supposed to be getting anyway, because that sprinkler was broke. So you're going to start digging that one up and put in a new one. Sorry guys if you can't hear me, the wind is just getting insane. So I got it dug up, I just wanted to show you. If it weren't for these 2 water lines here, that thing would have shot straight off. So yeah, basically water was shooting up out of the side of it, rendering it useless. So just wanted to show you guys that. Now it's just a matter of same old, just unscrewing this dog off, putting an Acme fitting on, putting the new sprinkler on. So go and do that, and then I'll be able to wire up the new one and call this one good. All right, so I finally got this one switched out. This is another Hunter sprinkler. Again, I'm not going to be plugging in to hand water this, so this is all taken care of, and just need to put some flags around so my guy doesn't run over it. Our next sprinkler we're going to go after is on the always ever so beautiful 6 Lakes. I bet you all are familiar with this sprinkler, especially you members. This piece of junk. So this is a sprinkler head. It's off the approach here, how this hole is shaped. It's kind of goofy, but this sprinkler was such a pain in the butt, because it would sometimes leak and then sometimes not. But you can see it leaked more often than not, and it always seemed like it was coming on and causing issues on a Saturday after I've already been in, and you know, have to come back in and turn it on off until it finally stops weeping. So, and what happens, what's the issue with this sprinkler is there's silt buildup. This is kind of the end of the line irrigation wise, since this spreads all the way out, and I know 7 shoots over that way, but therefore, like the sprinklers here on this end can collect a lot of junky debris from the pond. Anyway, not going into details, but that's what's happening with this head, is silt gets built up and it prevents the foot valve, the thing that completely shuts off the sprinkler at the bottom, to completely seal. So that's what happens every night we run water. If there's just the smallest little piece of debris, it can prevent these things from shutting down completely. So if you do see a weeper out in the course, that's what's happening. you know, 95% of the time. Dear Lord, that was unnecessarily difficult. To no surprise, we are 10 feet away from a tree and creek line. So the roots in here were terrible. Man, that took way longer than it needed to. Another thing too, when you have that many tree roots and apparently pea gravel and rocks, the willingness to be careful not to cut wires goes out the window. I went hog wild. And you know, the person that put this in here was so kind. They knew that I was going to be in here 35 years later. I even found some spare wire down in the hole. How nice of them. But anyway, that just, I bet since this was the end, because literally the common and the hot wire both end right here, so this is the end of the line. But anyway, they probably had some extra wire, and instead of throwing it away, they just threw it in the hole and they were done. So yeah, I got this dug up. Now it's a matter of unscrewing this, replacing the elbow, putting on our Acme elbow. I got to dig this back some so I can repair the wire and be able to connect the head. But this one should be done here. I'm going to replace it with the Hunter G800 series sprinklers. And I did it mainly for two reasons. The first reason is this 51 can only throw like, I don't know, 55 feet. And where I need to throw it to would be to that next the fairway head over here, and then the green, which is over there. And since we are on Six Lakes here, you can see the Lake Stonebridge right there. Wind is constantly coming off of it in this direction. So if this head pops up and the wind is blowing, it's not throwing 55 feet. It's lucky to be throwing 40 feet. So the Hunter head I'm putting in is going to be a fairway style head. It's going to throw much further. It's going to be able to combat the wind a little bit better. And I'm just curious of how far this sprinkler is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 paces, 75 feet. So, and I actually got an 85 foot throw, the sprinkler. So that should be perfect. Now let's check this distance real fast. So here's the nearest greens sprinkler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Oh, let's see how well Ohio State taught me. 27 times 3, 81. Perfect. Okay. So, like I said, the first reason why I got this sprinkler here is it's going to be able to throw a lot further. The second reason, now I could have replaced this with a new Rainbird 950 series, but what I'm going to get to here, the second reason why I bought this is it is so much cheaper than the Rainbird 950. I'm not really quite sure Rainbird, they've really kind of jacked their prices. It's not saying that just because it's cheaper, it's not a cheaper product. It in no way, shape, or form means that. But this is actually 50% less than what Rainbird 450 or Rainbird 950 is. So those are the two main reasons. And then finally, I don't need to plug into this one like the other heads sprinklers I replaced. I'll be plugging it in, you know, to water greens or whatever. This I won't have to do that. So I don't have to have a Rainbird head, because the coupler I have is specifically meant for Rainbird sprinklers. So that's why I chose to do this. Now it's unscrewing, switching out the elbow, and then putting in the new stuff and wiring it back up. Got this one here on 6 all buttoned up. I actually ordered a special soil blend here. A lot of good secret stuff. I'm not even sure if homeowners can get it. Just kidding. It's just sand and some landscape bed trimming soil. So I just mixed that up just because it was already loose and in a pile back at the shop for me. So anyway, this is all done. It's flagged, ready for good. And that pretty much wraps up this video, guys. I appreciate you watching, and always remember, if you're on a golf course, always wear a hat, because you never know when a bird is going on your head. See you next time.